Bienvenidos a Get Boring
Get ready for some
Chisme.
chisme. Remember that guy I was dating? No, I don't want to say his name, but
I don't know
and
who.
what's his name? um, and he did that to me. Remember? He did. He okay. The first time he did it, he said it was a Saturday.
What did he do?
So we had made plans to hang out on Sunday because it's like his Saturday and Sunday was his days off. Um, when that Saturday came, I don't know if I hung out with him or I didn't hang. No, I didn't hang out with him, but we were supposed to hang out on Sunday. We were supposed to get like go get ice cream or something like simple. Well, he texts me on Sunday. He's like, "Hey, I'm not gonna make it because I'm like really hungover and I feel like shit." That irritated me, but then I was like, "Okay," but I set the boundary of like, "Hey, just don't let this happen again," kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's like, "No, no, I'm sorry. I just really feel like shit." I was like, "Okay, fine. I get it when you're hungover." Then, like a couple weeks later, or like maybe a month later, I was, well, no, he was drinking and I went to see him on Saturday. And I didn't drink. And before I left, I was like, "Hey, we're still hanging out tomorrow, right?" He's like, "Yeah." He made it seem like he wasn't that drunk. But then the next morning, he's like, "Oh, I feel like shit."
Mm-hmm.
So I was pissed.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, that's fine. We don't have to hang out." But he knew I was pissed. And then I took like a day or two to just kind of reflect on it. And then I just broke it off. And I said, "I just don't think we're looking for the same thing."
Yeah.
So that is kind of like what we're saying, right? Like, but then should I have just cut it off the first time? Or do you give room for improvement?
I think you can give room, but also at the same time, you kind of sense, you feel where the person stands up in current time. For example, to explain this with an example, I start dating, or like the beginning of a relationship in the past. The person wasn't emotionally available.
Mhm.
It's completely emotionally unavailable, and it's because we jump from uh, they jump from one person to the next one.
Mm,
A
mhm.
lot of people do that. Like we don't
Mhm.
close cycles. We don't wait. So they weren't emotionally available, and I was like, I was single for some time, so I had this capacity. And I was requesting so much, like, let's put the effort. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
But a person ending a relationship is exhausting, is draining, and
Mhm.
they didn't have that energy. But then I was like, yeah, come on, blah, blah, blah. But you see, I saw that person struggling, and you just sense their capacity or their current habits.
Mhm.
And if you decide to ignore that, this is what is going to happen,
Where you
right?
break your own heart.
You break your own heart, yes. So in your case, I think you could read his habits.
Yeah, because that was a habit. It wasn't a one time thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
for sure, this was gonna happen
Again.
again and again. So I think two times is a good number, depending on the red flag.
Yeah.
I think being emotionally unavailable is a one time. You see the red flag and it's just go
So
away.
what did you were you sad because then she kind of gave it a chance, but then she's like, "I can't do this."
Yeah,
So you broke your own heart pretty much
pretty
because you
much.
decided to ignore that red
Yeah,
flag.
exactly.
Ah, okay.
But that fear that we were talking about, it was a fear that, oh, I found this beautiful girl. How am I gonna lose her? I need to fight. But you're fighting. Um, you know, I think I told you this. Like you have the cocoon,
Mhm.
and if you try to open the cocoon for the butterfly to fly, you're gonna kill the butterfly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
right? They need to heal first. They need to close the
Mhm.
cycles. And this experience is completely out of your hands,
Yeah.
right? So having emotionally unavailable people is like the huge red flag. Don't mess around with these people because it's impossible. It's not
Yeah.
up to you, right?
Yeah, no matter how hard you try, if
No
it's
matter
like
how
a
hard.
no,
Yeah,
even if they try, it's like a fake try.
yeah,
Yeah, that's so true. Wow.
yeah,
And then you know what? And you know the crazy thing is that you probably reflected and was thinking, I'm not good enough. I'm the problem. Because if I was better at whatever, then she would like me. Then she would try with me.
yeah,
Right? Like when you're not self aware, I'm saying.
yeah. It's really hard to see when you're not self-aware. Because if I was self-aware, I would consider my value first.
Right.
I would consider my, you even can plan it. Like, how is this gonna go? Because I wanna be here at this time,
Yeah.
but I think hanging around with this person
But
is not gonna help me.
but you know what? Ignoring that red flag could have led you down that road. Like let's say she would have just said, "Ah, fine." Right? With this girl.
Yeah,
And you'd have been like, "Oh, yeah, 6 months in." Right? And then she tells you, "Yeah, I just don't. I'm
and
just
it's gone.
it's
Yeah,
gone." And then you're like, "Oh my god, I put so much time and effort into this." And if you would have only seen it the first time she said no and
right.
really took in it, you would have saved yourself 6
Yeah,
months.
and that's the problem sometimes of ignoring these red flags. Because the first time you see a red flag, it might be the cause of a future breakup. And this breakup can be after years.
But you know that's what they say, the red flags that you ignore at the very beginning are the reason why you're going to break up when you break up. So that's kind of true.
It can be, yeah, yeah. Either you work it out in your relationship,
Mhm.
because I think you can fix things too,
Yeah.
or yeah, I would say, suppose the person I'm dating has 10 red flags.
Mhm.
I'm aware of them and I address them in the relationship. Can we maneuver this? Can we negotiate? If the person collaborates, let's say this red flag became a yellow flag, right? Okay, it's not a threat anymore. Okay, next one. Suppose you address all of them, then you can proceed, right?
But do you think that you could really change a red flag into a yellow flag?
I think so, because red flags. Um, well, I read the definition, right? It's just a warning sign,
Mhm.
but it's not saying it is a habit. So basically, something that could be negotiated.
Okay, so like my story that I told you, that was a habit.
That was a
A
habit,
red
for
flag,
example.
but then you saw the behavior of a habit.
Yes, exactly.
That
And red flags,
makes
in a
sense.
general sense, might not come from a habit. I think the ones that are a habit are the ones more difficult to maneuver or
Yeah.
manage. Or
I,
so,
I wonder if I'm a walking red flag. I probably am. I mean, I probably am in some way, shape, or form. Because you know what? I mean, it's somebody else's perspective looking at me, right? So their red flags are completely different from mine.
yeah, yeah. And I think people feel the red flags differently.
Yeah, absolutely. Because to be honest, okay, I'm very consistent or I like consistency when I date and texting, calling, or meeting up, just the consistency of like, hey, if we're both interested, right? But I'm not going to be texting you every like 10 minutes or an
Yeah,
hour, or as soon as you text me, I text you right back.
yeah.
Like maybe when I was younger, I was like that, but then now I was dating this guy and he was like that.
Go on.
So there's this guy I was dating and he was very consistent and I liked it. But then, so that wasn't a red flag to me, right? It's like it was a green flag to me. But then because I didn't text him back right away, I think I became a red flag to him. And then he was like, I don't think you like me enough. And I'm like, dude, just because I answered 2 hours later, like, doesn't mean I don't like you or I'm not
Yeah,
having a good time. But then maybe I became a red flag,
yeah. So I guess
right?
each red flag is a whole spectrum.
Exactly. It is because to me, I'm like, if he would text me back in 3 hours,
You'll
okay,
be
that's
okay.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like I wouldn't see that as a red flag because to me, it's still consistent. Like you're not ghosting me or I don't hear from you for a whole day. Like
yeah,
that's would be a red flag to me.
yeah.
So, but then I became the red flag. I'm just thinking about that right now. I became a walking red flag to him.
Bendy, I have a good question.
Okay, Fendi.
Could you mention one red flag while dating for from social media? Something that you see in social media of a person that is a red flag. Let's say the girl's perspective.
What do you mean?
Yeah, you're dating a guy,
Mm-hmm.
you go and look his Instagram.
Uh-huh.
What is something that you see? Oh, this is a red flag on on the social media from the social media.
Um, I guess everybody will be different because everybody takes social media differently. I'm not a big fan of social media. Yes, I do post, but it's here and there and it's just things that I like, travel or whatever. Something simple. I'm
Yeah,
not posting selfies every day, right?
yeah.
Or my dog. Um, but so what I would notice is what they're doing in the pictures that they're posting.
Hmm.
Um, maybe who are they following? Like, what is the majority of their follows?
Yeah,
How many people are they following? How many people are following them? Um, any tag photos?
yeah,
Like, who are your friends? What do you post about? What do you actually care about? And then why are you posting that?
yeah. Okay. So you would try to see consistency. Like, yes, who is this person? Just by
Mhm.
you want to know them, but also if you find an inconsistency here or something fishy, you will notice it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, and I would say for a lot of guys, I'm dating somebody and this person posts very exposed pictures,
Like a
like a
picture?
like a booty
Booty booty.
pictures
Uh-huh.
or yeah, pictures like that
Or like showing their cleavage
or
or
showing
whatever.
yeah, very exposed
Mhm.
portraits that is showing me about, what I was saying, exclusivity. Because
Oh.
even there the exclusivity shines.
But then why do some guys say, "Oh, my woman, yeah, guys want them." So,
What?
it's nothing like, "Oh, if if other guys check out my girl, that's fine. Like, yeah, that's my girl. Like, I want other guys to check her out.
I
If
don't think.
that's exclusivity, uh, you know what I mean?
No.
You've never heard guys say that?
No.
Like, oh, your girl, like, I forget where I was seeing this topic, and then some guy said, "Oh, I don't care if my girl dresses like sexy or whatever. Like, yeah, I want other guys. Like, I'm okay with other guys checking her out because she's my girl. Hell yeah, I want people to know that she's hot."
No,
So,
that's that okay. So one thing, for example, is if the person I'm dating starts posting things with me. Like, oh, I'm there. Like she's showing me with her,
yeah,
and then we can do whatever we want in the picture. But if it's just her booty showing, booty shining, that's her being exposed and presented as available for other men.
mm.
That's where the exclusivity is not well placed.
Okay, so let's say You went on a date with this girl, went amazing, great chemistry. She's smart. She's whatever, right? You guys at each other, and then she has like booty pictures.
A million of pictures, then
Yeah.
I would completely lose interest.
Oh, really? Like just instantly.
Yeah, I mean, here, if my intention is to date
Yeah.
seriously, I would lose interest.
Oh,
If it is
wow.
just like,
And then you would ghost. I'm just kidding.
no, I think that will transform into, okay, it's not gonna, it doesn't align with my values,
Yeah. Yeah.
with my needs. So probably my intentions are gonna change.
Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, with guys, they don't really do that stuff. They only show like, I don't know, nice outfits and they post like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But if he like posts a picture of him smoking a joint, no.
Yeah. For example, that, right?
I would be so done.
Yeah.
I'd be like, no. That is such a turn off.
Yeah. Yeah, Pendy. So red flags are important to notice. Not that. Now, notice that uh, we have to distinguish between a red flag and a non-negotiable. Because a non-negotiable is that something that you're not gonna give away, something that you're not gonna be open about it, right?
Flexible.
Right. You're completely straight and disciplined with this aspect. And a non-negotiable for me, for example, that it'll be that. You know what? I don't like you posting,
Yeah.
exposing. Where's that um, intimacy that should be just for us?
Between us.
But that's
Yeah.
just my perspective, right? That'll be a non-negotiable for me.
Yeah.
Is so it is a red flag, but it is a non-negotiable too. So in this case, they match, but there are other aspects that are different. For example, let's say the person, I don't know, got late home. So that's a red flag, but I can I can negotiate that
Lateness.
lateness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but how late? Like if you're going on a date and she's an hour late, you're like, how many times are you gonna
Yeah, exactly. So let's say the first time they got late to a date, it was an hour because it's not a non-negotiable for me. That means that I'm flexible to discuss about it, but I also have a limit. Also, the red flags accumulate.
would you tell her on the first day, like, hey, I don't appreciate you
Probably
being
not.
no, you would just be cool with it.
Yes, probably the second time, yes.
Oh, I would tell him.
No, I wouldn't be cool. I would be like feeling something,
Yeah.
but it's like everything is under control. Okay, I'm already here. Let me just try to have fun. Next time, it'll be like, okay, what's going on?
I would I would tell him on the first date. I'd be like, don't ever
Yeah,
keep me waiting again,
yeah,
bitch.
yeah,
That's what I would tell him. I'd probably make it like a jokey joke, but like you'll know I'm serious.
yeah. So that's a non-negotiable for you.
An hour? You kept me waiting for an hour?
Well, I think an hour is too
No
much.
mames.
I think I will leave after half an hour.
Bendy, okay, so there was this guy that asked me out on a date, begged me to let me take you out, blah blah blah. I said fine, right? I was like fine, let's do it. What day are you thinking? Thursday. Okay, we make plans, date, time, where, place, everything. Then the day before, he tells me, "Oh, my friend came down from Raleigh, and we're going to a concert, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Cool, have fun, whatever." The next day, 2 hours before the freaking date, he texts me and he's like, hey, my friend is still here. Could we just like reschedule for tomorrow? I literally said to him, I'll let you know when I'm free. And he said, "Why does that feel like you're never going to be free?" And I
Yeah.
said, "Because I'm not." And I said, "Honestly, I have no interest in meeting." He's like, "Why?" He was like so shook that I
Hmm.
would just not reschedule with him.
Yeah.
But to me, it was like, we haven't even had a first date. You begged me to go on a first date, and now you're rescheduling 2 hours before the date. To me, I was like, no. But then a lot of girls probably would have said, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But you know what it came off to me is, this is who you are. You're already showing me who you're going to be.
Right. Because that looked like a habit.
Exactly. That looked like a habit. So to me, it's like, no, if this was important and you're taking it seriously, like I'm taking it seriously, then why would you not, why would you reschedule? Like that to me was just no. I just felt like he would do that in the relationship if we ever were in one.
Hmm.
That it would be, oh, something came up, I'll keep you waiting. And I'm like, no. Like you're lucky I gave you a chance.
Yeah.
And now you're rescheduling with me because your friend just randomly came down here. Sir, you can go out for 2 hours and go back to your friend.
Yeah.
Priorities.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he wanted to, he would.
Pendy. Okay. I have another question.
Yeah.
So I think we are talking about red flags associated to a habit, which
Hmm.
I think these type of red flags, mm, you can work them out, but they're gonna be tough, and and maybe the person is accessible to do the job, but since it is a habit, it's gonna need repetition. Like creating a new, unlearning and then learning back another habit,
Hmm.
and this requires consideration, empathy, a lot
Yeah.
of things. But there are this group of red flags that are not associated with a habit, and it's just like lack of consideration in the moment, lack of empathy in the moment.
But okay, so then now that I'm thinking about it, isn't every red flag a behavior? Because if you have lack of consideration, where else does that show up?
It is a behavior, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is my question, because the ones about habits, it is like a prefabricated behavior. It's
Hmm.
already a pattern, right?
Hmm.
But these other ones, for example, many many times when I used to date, I got late.
No, that is, you're a walking red
I'm a walking
flag.
red flag.
When it comes to time, yes, you are.
But other red flags that I committed, that I did, it was, for example, like this person, I'm not taking her as so important.
Serious? Uh huh.
Then I started treating them differently, like a little bit more, not with the best care,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe just, what, you are insignificant for me, like. And
Like the connection is not that strong,
the
so I'm just
connection
like
is not as
whatever.
strong, so I'm gonna give you a different treatment. But it comes from a behavior, right?
Hmm.
So what do you think is the root of these red flags? Because we are saying, I got late to the appointment, right? But it's not because of an emergency or anything like that. It was just, I'm not gonna make that effort.
Yeah, but that's another red flag. Not doing the consistent effort if you really say to like someone.
Yeah, and I think that's the source of the red flags that are not associated to a pattern. It's just behavior that comes from lack of consideration.
or lack of
or
interest.
lack of interest in the moment, right? Like in this current time, I see the relationship we're having. If I don't feel it, like, meh, I'm gonna lose interest, and probably I'm gonna treat you differently. Probably I'm gonna ghost you now, but not in the first 3 weeks that we were.
Okay, so let's just say that you see, and that's why it's important for girls to stay very grounded and notice those red flags. Because let's just say you were meeting me and you were late, I would be able to notice that red flag of he's not being considerate. He's treating me a certain way. I know how I want to be treated. That's why, as our own personal, ourselves, we need to be, like you said, very clear on your boundaries, your red flags, and your
Yeah,
non negotiables.
yeah,
Because then that tells you he's actually not treating me how I expect to be treated or
yeah,
I want to be treated. So I'm going to walk away
yeah,
instead of waiting for you to walk away.
exactly. And the thing is that there's this other group of people that I never ghosted, for example.
Hmm.
So it's the red flag sometimes is I need the recipient. I need the recipient to to deposit my red flag. But maybe I'm gonna deposit it here, but
But
not over
why?
here.
Why do you even have red flags to deposit?
Because I think the red flags change based on who we are
On who
dating.
you really like or don't like.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so let me ask you. If you're dating a girl you really are interested in and you're late, okay? But because it's but you're trying to still be considerate, but you're still late,
Yeah,
right? And you're noticing like, oh shit, I'm late, whatever.
yeah.
If she would address it with you the first time, what would change? What would be different?
I will make my best effort to not
Okay.
do it again.
And then after 3 months,
What?
we're doing the 3 month rule, right? So after 3 months, then what? You gonna just start showing up late?
Well, the thing is that that's a good point. The thing is that okay, because I really like this person,
Yeah.
this is the game. And then we enter in the game, right? In the game
Okay.
of dating. What I need is to get to her heart. I need to convince her that I'm a good candidate.
Yeah.
Because biologically,
She only has
women
10.
pick,
Yeah.
and we just have to present ourselves as these amazing men.
Yeah.
Just pick me, please, because I really like you.
Hide all the red flags because you
Exactly,
deposited the red flags
exactly.
with the other girl.
That's probably exactly. I already deposited all my red flags over there. Now I can focus here.
So, baby girl, you're not getting no red flags.
No, only green flags
I'm a
until.
walking a green flag until either we sleep together or 3 months. After 3 months, then
Yeah, but you know what? What you're saying, if I see that this person called me out, that's gonna be registered here.
yeah.
Because I would think part of the same thing as the exclusivity. I find value over here.
Oh, okay.
I find value over here. And maybe after these 3 months and that experience and the chemistry, I'm gonna recall to that event at the beginning to say, I'm making a better decision of staying with you because I find more value in you putting boundaries.
Ah,
You
okay.
know?
Yeah,
And
that makes sense.
and also in the sense of working in a relationship, that's good to have.
Yes.
That's always healthy to and being able to communicate.
Yeah.
But maybe you're not gonna see this until 1 year in, and these habits of communicating in early stages, you're gonna appreciate them in the long run.
Yeah, that's
But maybe
true.
maybe in this transition of we're getting to know each other, we're falling in love, blah blah blah, we're having intimacy, all this process is chaotic, right?
Yeah.
It's emotionally chaotic. There's a lot of logistics here,
A lot of room to grow.
a lot of room to grow.
Yeah.
And I think some red flags are going to be adjusted. Some new ones are going to appear
Yeah.
in the future.
Yeah. I guess, okay, well, I guess speaking with red flags, so I guess in conclusion, I guess from all these like red flags or not, I honestly feel like there's not a set rule for red flags, because I think that some red flags can be negotiated or talked through, or you can set a boundary on the first time and give it another chance for change behavior. Of course, like if you go on a date and he calls you a bitch or disrespects you in that way, of course that's a red flag that you shouldn't give a second chance to,
Right.
because that's never going to change.
Everything that attempts to threatens your wellness
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be negotiated.
Yeah, right. So, but I think there's other times like how the time thing, right? You could probably give this girl three chances and then have a talk with her.
Yeah.
For me, I would have a talk on the first date, like the first time he did it, right? To set the boundary.
Yeah.
And then go from the change behavior from there, right? So it could be, I could probably be flexible and let the time thing go three more times. That's where my flexibility would be in that red flag.
Yeah.
But then after that, I would really have to assess if I
Yeah.
want to stay here.
Yeah. And among those lines, Bendy, a good, as you say, it's not an equation, but maybe you can set dynamics,
Mm-hmm.
because red flags are gonna show all the time in different layers. Um, in a relationship, I started having check-ins, and it was like a 1 month check-in.
Mm,
And in these check-in sessions, you discuss, hey, how are we doing?
right.
Is there
That's a good
anything you don't
idea.
like? Just discuss. Let's discuss.
I feel a lot of
And
people don't do
a
that.
lot of people don't do it,
Yeah.
and it gets tiring. To be honest, it gets tiring. And oh damn, I have to think again to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see that the periods, months that we never had a check-in session, it was a disaster. It was
Mm-hmm.
like we were emotionally disconnected. Some issues were going on,
Mm-hmm.
but then we remember, oh, actually, let's have a session, right? Let's have a
Yeah.
session. We discuss issues and we improve.
Yeah.
So I think this could be a good strategy to address red flags
Yeah.
in any period, in
Yeah.
any stage.
I agree. Yeah. So I think that as much as we want to say that red flags are red flag, cut them off, cut her off, I think there's always room in certain red flags to give 1 to 2 chances for change behavior,
Yeah,
to let them learn you, you learn them,
yeah,
and it becomes a better dynamic so they could understand you better, you understand them better, whatever. So, yeah.
yeah. So it's important to know red flags, but don't
Very,
freak out.
very important. Don't ignore them. Well,
Or I'll see you, or I'll
yeah.
see you in the chaos.
Yeah. All right. Well, that concludes our
¡Qué
podcast. Get
boring!
boring.